Hey Mike, so here's a quick CAD drawing I did of the sump I'm thinking about doing for your 60 cube. Um, you said it needed to be 20 this way by 18 deep and 16 tall. We can do those measurements. I'm not so sure why you want to go 16 tall unless you just want more water volume in the sump. Because on Reef Dynamics website for your skimmer, the INS 100, it requires a water level of 6.5, which is nice, but I wouldn't make the baffles that low. I was thinking of making these baffles 10. That's usually the height that I usually go is 10, but we can go as high as you want. It's just going to take more acrylic. The higher the baffle, the more water you'll have over here if you're going to do macro or whatever. And this thing isn't entirely to scale because you said it what needed to be 20 long, and the skimmer itself takes 8.5 by 10. So the footprint of the skimmer is going to take almost at least half of this. So really, I should have probably moved these baffles to half the length of the sump, or perhaps over here. So you're only going to have this section maybe this big that I'm moving my mouse over for macro or rock or whatever. Maybe you're just going to leave it alone. But this is just basically what I have rolling around in my head of what the way I would approach this new build to make it as simple as possible and best maintenance that you can do on it. So not best maintenance, but easiest and headache-free maintenance. That's why I always build my own sumps. I encourage everybody to build their own sumps. I think a lot of people start hating the hobby after a while because they didn't plan it out and the maintenance gets to them, especially in my opinion with filter socks. I can't stand it when I see the guys that use the socks and they're zip tied to something in the tank, or there's a drawstring type filter sock and they have a pipe going down in that, and then you have the hassle of pulling that pipe out, recinching the drawstring, all that junk. So I like to create a table. Uh, so right here you'll see, actually let me back up. Let me show you exactly how this is going to work. You sent me the picture on the cell phone of your 60 cube. I saw in the upper left corner is your drain and your return. I would imagine that only has two holes, one drain, one return, just like your 120 that we're doing as well. But I'm thinking this is how I did Brian's as well. I don't like putting the pump over on this side or anything, or even over here, because you'd have to put in 90s and 45s to get it all the way up back up to the tank, and that just cuts down flow. I'm a big flow guy. I like high turnover, and this is so much easier to plumb if we just put it directly underneath your return, and you just have a straight shot up there. You can put a ball valve on here if you need to, or whatever. It's up to you. But I like putting it right here to increase the flow as best as possible. So then we would take the second hole and come down here and do a 90 and then a 90 back into here, where it comes into a compartment right here, a completely sealed off compartment. That'll fill up and overflow and spill over into these socks. Now, if you looked at my YouTube videos, you see that I router out an actual lip for these socks, basically a table, so the water just flushes right over onto here. You said 16 tall with the sump again. Um, you probably saw in the YouTube video as well. This barrier right here and this barrier right here is just for safety in case you get lazy about uh, emptying your changing your filter socks. You can be lazy and it will overflow, and then it will clog, and then it will overflow this, and then eventually overflow this little section right here. So you'll never have to worry about it overflowing your sump and causing a flood or anything. So I don't put a piece right here to completely enclose the sock. There's no really point for that unless you want it. We can do that, but it would take another little piece of acrylic there, and in my opinion, it really doesn't do anything. So this flows into the skimmer right here. I know this isn't exact the skimmer that you have because you have a Eheim pump that feeds this skimmer. Actually, I'm looking on my other monitor here. It has a modified Cedra. Okay. Anyways, it has a feed pump. So then there'll be room for your one of your reactors. And then depending on what you want to do, I mean, you could probably fit 1 or 2 reactors in here, but the way I will build this, if this is the skimmer you have, and on their website it says 8.5 by 10. 10 is the max, so I would probably, I'd put this first baffle right at 11 inches. So this sock you said you wanted 4 inches, so let's just guesstimate this is 11 over here. So that first baffle would be 11. The second one would be an 11 and a half, or a 12 and a half, and then 13 and a half, 14, 14 right here. So you'd have 14 to here. So that's like what I was saying at the beginning of the video. This is not an accurate representation because 14 to 20, you only have 6 inches for your pump, which is be fine. You'd have actually six. I think these pumps are like 5 inches wide, so that would fit. But you'd also have, almost 18 inches of just canal of water feeding to the pump. Now, if you really wanted to, we could make it so all the water actually has to. I could put another baffle right here, and all the water would have to somehow work its way over here and then channel down this canal to the pump if you really wanted to. Or we'll just put a baffle, because this needs another baffle right here. I would put in one more baffle to stop air bubbles. Uh, Even though some might get through this bubble trap, I would still probably put another baffle down here. I don't know. I'd probably do it as we get down the road. We can figure it out that way. But like I said, that's just a really quick mock-up of what I have going around in my head. Let me know if you're good with this, um, or if you have some other ideas, or whatever. We can tailor it. That's another beautiful thing about customizing your own acrylic sump. Um, you can do whatever you want in there. I can make anything out of acrylic, so whatever you need in there, we can surely do. So look forward to building it. Let me know what you got in mind, and we can go from there. Thanks.